Paul Page, the voice of IndyCars. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Team. You can expect high speeds, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you could only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engine.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gotzo, and welcome back to RaceVerse coverage of the Dark Horse DW12 series. This is round 3 of season 7, coming to you today from Iowa Speedway. Joining me in the booth is our driver expert, the Catalyst Andrew Wood. Andrew, it looks like we're going to be seeing some pretty fast speeds. A very cool racetrack, very cool ambient temperatures. That sets us up for what we might see on this track that you never really think you'd see on a 7/8 of a mile oval. Maybe some pack racing?
Yeah, Gary, good to be with you again. Under the lights of Iowa, what can we ask for anything better? Yeah, these cars, these colorful DW12 cars are going to be racing tonight. Hope for a nice race. I'm not sure if it'll be a pack race or not. It's been a while since I've seen some DW12s race around here, so it's kind of unknown, really. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's get into it here. We got provisional qualifying underway. And Peterson to the top with a speed of 192.327. Bulls right behind him with a 192.1. And all the IndyCar track records you do need to know here from Iowa. Scott Dixon, you don't really know Scott Dixon as a guy that holds for a lot of track records. He's been pretty fast in Indianapolis the last couple of years, but really there's very few places that he still holds a track record at. Well, this is one of them. Set back in 2014, he turned a lap of 186.256. You can see by the speeds on the chart, we're well beyond that. But this is one of the few tracks that actually Scott, despite having the track record at, doesn't have a win here at all. So maybe we'll see that change this year as he continues his march to AJ's all-time record. The career wins leaders here at Iowa are Joseph Newgarden. He's pretty much dominated this place, especially in the last 5 years. He is the undisputed king of corn with 6 wins in the last 10 races, including 2 in a row, which were the last 2 we had in the doubleheader last season. So he's going in with a streak to the season's races later this season. And that's the NTT IndyCar season. Ryan Hunter-Ray has 3, and Dario Franchitti and James Hinchcliffe each have 2. The rule set tonight, 75% fuel, unlimited tires, 1 fast repair, and the pit road speed limit is 40 miles per hour. If you enjoy RaceVerse coverage of the Dark Horse DW12 series and respect the stream, please do us a solid and smash that like button and subscribe. And while you're at it, don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss out on future iRacing broadcasts. With a minute to go, Peterson's still at the top, but still got some big names to go. Anybody you see that has tickled your fancy yet there, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for Matt Wagner and see what he could do, because this is kind of a track that I know he's pretty good at, but it seems that either he's on his first lap and hasn't completed the second one yet. Actually, it looks like he's just completing his second lap now. Yep, jumps right to the top right there. So this is a Matt Wagner kind of race right here, honestly. Short track, uninhibited by any sort of distractions tonight in his own league that he runs. So right to the top he goes. So yeah, I think this setup is actually pretty similar to what I would expect. A couple names in here I'm not familiar with, but we'll get to know them through the night.
About 10 seconds left, and that provisional pole becomes an official pole for Wagner. And that is it. We are out of time. So Teed and Hobart chose not to qualify. They will start from 16th and 17th respectively. So a modest cars field size here. I don't think If we go back to our coverage of the Indy Fixed race here at Iowa 2 weeks ago, traffic played a huge role in that particular race. I don't know if it will today. We shall see. But let's get into starting to read these starting lineup here from Iowa. And from the pole is Matty Wagner with that time of 16 seconds lap, 16.627. Peterson second, Rafi Eckhart third, Edson Santos. So it's an all leaner energy second row. Edson Santos with another 16.6. Ryan Bowles, Eric Schaus back in fifth and sixth. Chris Stouffer leading row 7. Craig Forsyth, his teammate, is in 8th. Yari Brubacher, JB, in 9th. Gary Lovern, 10th. Warren Rogers, 11th. And A.J. Hobson in that Ed Carpenter throwback in P12. Gary Corley, 13th. Williams Swinson, 14th. Casey Plesky, 15th. And as mentioned, Teed and Hobart bringing up the last two of the spots on the grid at 16th and 17th. They are slotted according to iRating. And Teed will be 16th. Hobart will be shotgun in the field on 17th.
Yeah, so Gary, I'm kind of surprised at some of these names. I know AJ Hobson's always someone who wants to charge forward, as I mentioned back on our last broadcast at Pocono. Back there in 12th, you can expect that he's going to want to jump out and make some moves pretty early. Chris Stouffer in 7th, same kind of thing. Probably not the qualifying that he was hoping for. So when the green flag drops, I think we're immediately going to see some guys kind of just hang out, and then we have other guys that want to try and make their way forward that may not have had the qualifying that they expected.
2 pacing laps tonight, so we can get a leisurely start to this. It's not off and racing immediately.
Yeah, I noticed that we had the pace truck tonight.
Yeah,
which is, something I'm not used to seeing so much. So we'll get 2 laps of the pacing truck as opposed to the pace car. So yeah, it'll be an interesting start to this race here, and hopefully that truck doesn't distract too many guys from the start of the race.
Track temp, as you see on the screen, that is a new ad that we've been able to add to the overlay. 71 degrees Fahrenheit for the track temp, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. So for racing, comparatively speaking, that is pretty cool. Very cool, as a matter of fact. And we're not talking about cool as in the Fonz A cool. We're talking temperature-wise. But that might bring up pack racing. We shall see. I have been, and Peterson flashing out on the top row there. I have been in a pack race on this track before in the DW12s, and it is a dizzying, as you would imagine, a very dizzying pace.
Is that a pack race that both you and I were in, perhaps less than a year ago? This great track.
It was going to be more than a year ago because it would be a race that you and I were in. No, the Lionheart Series.
Yeah, I think it was sometime middle part of last year, but yeah, it was towards the end of the year from what I remember. And yeah, it had the same kind of effect. The scary 2x2, hoping that everybody gets through the corner, doesn't get the dirty air, all that jazz, all that IndyCar stuff.
Yeah, I think I got my best finish of the season, 10th that day, and then my very first Lionheart race was here. I debuted here in the race the year before and finished, I think, 8th by virtue of just avoiding everyone's issues. But issues are beginning to mount right now as we go green, and Schaus looking on the outside for row 3, trying to get that spot. But Matty Wagner leads him in the 1, going to the bottom, 3 wide, coming off of 1 for the Learn Energy cars, and Teed. Or Peterson.
I'm back watching the AJ Hobson climb effect. He jumped on the outside of Gary Lovern for P11, I believe that was. And unfortunately, he didn't get the move done that he wanted, but I think he's going to try and see if the outside line is going to work for him.
Craig Forsyth making it work on the outside at the moment. He has worked his way up a couple positions. He has his teammate right behind him. Stouffer following him through. Rafi Eckhart falling back to 6th. So is Santos. So the leader energy guys started off this race a little rough. Schaus in that Jolly Rogers inspired paint scheme there for U.S. Navy Fighter Squadron. Although I'm sure that the Jolly Rogers didn't have bright pink wheel hubs on their F-14 Tomcats.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case at all there, Gary. I'm actually watching a lot of these guys at the bottom part of the top 10. They're touching the yellow line, entering turn 1 and 2. So I think this setup tonight is a little bit loose, maybe a little bit more entry turn in than they'd expect. So luckily, no one's really touched it enough to spin the car out. But a lot of these guys at the bottom part of the top 10 are trying to find the clean air and trying to find the way forward.
As we like to say here on the program, apron bad, but especially down low in 1, there is a very vicious bump down there.
Yeah, that's the underground tunnel that takes you from the outside to the inside of the track. So over the years, everything settles and it becomes a nice little bump there. And if you hit that bump the wrong way, that'll hit you down on the apron, and then that'll actually spin or unsettle the car quite a bit. So these guys got to be careful of that, on top of trying to go, 190 miles per hour on this track?
Yeah, in theory, if we have no cautions, and I think maybe I just jinxed it right there, we could be done in less than an hour because it's 200 laps, and they are doing, let's take a look at time. We do have a new leader, by the way. Peterson is the leader. Let's take a look at their last laps, time-wise. 16.8s, 16.7s, 16, a lot of 16s, some 17s mixed in there a little bit further on back. But if we keep that pace up, we'll be done in no time. Let's give you an idea of what the last laps were miles per hour wise. Peterson at the top, 189.6. Wagner right there with a 190.4 as he's in the draft. Draft does play a bit of a role here. There's enough room on the backstretch and the front stretch to get the benefits of the draft, but you don't want to be directly behind the car when you're in those corners. The aero push is pretty vicious here, and for whatever reason, those turn 2 and turn 4 walls come up and greet you really quickly.
Yeah, we're seeing a 7-car breakaway here. The top 7 all kind of running together, and then 8th on back, all fighting for those bottom part of the top 10 scraps. Yeah, so it looks like your pack racing theory has kind of gone away tonight, and I'm glad that's actually happening, because you have these cars that are trying to keep the high line or keep the low line. Tire wear is definitely going to play a big part of this, and if you keep running your car up high, you're going to burn off that right front very fast. So it's actually a good thing that these guys are running single file, perhaps trying to find some clean air a little bit higher if they possibly can. But yeah, it looks like these top 7 cars are really breaking away right now, and they're not able to really have the guys at the bottom part of the top 10 catch up to them.
Ralphie Eckert going to the 3rd lane, trying to work his way around Stouffer. I think Ralphie is one of the few cars staying really, really high. Almost in the back of Stouffer there. Craig Forsyth was the highest that time. He's experimenting with that 2nd and 3rd lane at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like the bottom line is actually starting to kind of fall away a tiny bit. As you see, Stouffer has tried the bottom line in both turn 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and kind of pushed up into the outside line a little bit. So you're going to watch all these cars kind of migrate slowly towards the top, especially the ones in the dirty air. The leaders can probably get away with something. The
Schaus.
Schaus almost touched the wall there, but that's going to be the big storyline all night. Is you got to keep that optimal line, that arc, working, and if you don't, then the guys behind are going to find the clean air and get right by you.
Contact between Forsyth and Teed. That was Peterson, sorry. They have very similar looking cars. That was Peterson. And that took out one of the Leader Energy cars. So let's go back and take a look at that momentarily. So right here, coming into 3 and 4 on the bottom. And he's in the draft. This is Forsyth in the draft of Schaus. Just pushes up into Peterson, unfortunately, and takes out, I believe that is that Edson?
No, that was actually Rafi.
That was Rafi. So takes out one of the other big, strong cars, and he has a very damaged left front tire.
Yeah, kind of exactly what I was mentioning actually happened there, where as soon as you get any sort of dirty, like clean air on the bottom line, you're not going to be able to keep that line very easily, as you saw with Stouffer. And then as soon as Schaus gave a little bit of dirty air to the bottom, that was enough for Forsyth to push right up into the path of Peterson. Very unfortunate for them.
Yeah, everyone's going to hit pit road. Of course, those Leader Energy cars are going to get the fast repair, same as Peterson, same for Forsyth. Although Forsyth's kind of coming out ahead in the deal here. He is 3rd off pit road. with his teammate Stouffer right behind him. Do want to give a shout out since we're looking at the 4D Racewear cars. Tonight's coverage has been brought to you by, or helped brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made for sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's description. They are among the sponsors here of the Dark Horse DW12 series. Let's reset the field here for you real quick before we go back to green. Wagner is your leader. He and Peterson swapped a couple times at the front, so Wagner has not led them all, but he has led the most so far. Schaus is P2, up 4 spots from where he started. Craig is 5 spots up from where he started. Stouffer working with Craig to move up forward. He is up 3 spots. Stouffer in 4th. Rafi Eckert down to 5th. And Edson Santos, his teammate, also down 2 spots in 6th, but still in the top 10. Another one of the names you mentioned that you were looking forward to at the start of the race, A.J. Hobson has worked his way up to 7th, Ryan Bowles 8th, Gary Lever 9th, and Charles Teed, who I kept saying was involved in an accident. He wasn't. He is back in 10th, where it's nice and safe.
Looks like everybody that entered the pits kind of where they were, came out where they were, so I don't think anybody really lost anything there. Of course, the ones involved in the incident got their fast repair. As you saw, Rafi Eckert is still in P5. Yeah, he's in P5 right now. Yep. So I think not too much loss there. I think he just kind of drove through. It was in kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I think he's not in such a bad spot right now. However, the fast repair is gone. So now there can be no mistakes from here on out.
Yeah, and that lose your fast repair 20 laps into a 200-lap race, still 90% of the race to go. Yeah, it definitely is going to affect his driving style going forward. It would affect mine for sure. So he does have a bit more of a. It's already a challenge to race this racetrack with these cars, with especially how fast it is. But he has the additional challenge of just trying to avoid any more contact.
Kind of surprised that some of these guys at the back didn't try and stay out and get some track position, because obviously track position is big here, despite what the tire situation is. But we're about to go green. And
we are green for lap 21.
Check up in the back.
Yep. And Corley is spinning on the infield. That is not going to bring up a caution, but we'll check real quick and see what happened. And he had a big spot between him and the driver in front of him. And we'll just move this forward.
He's got to park that car because the field is coming. Oh, yeah, okay. He gets it right off the track just in the nick of time as cars are turning into turn 1.
Yeah, we're watching the replay of the start since we didn't go caution here. And let's see. Yeah, he just anticipated a run that didn't develop, and he gets booted from behind by Casey Putski.
Oh, Eric Schaus touches the apron right in turn 3, almost comes up into the path of, I believe that was Forsyth.
Right,
no incident there, but it's
going to cost him. Yeah, it's going to cost him some big time positions. Yeah, here's AJ Hobson to the inside.
AJ Hobson now up 7 spots from his starting position, just as expected. Guy is always digging and digging for as much as he possibly can. But let's see if he can hold on to it as we have Eric Schaus going right inside there. Can't complete the pass, but this is back to that unable to hold the bottom situation. It touches the apron again there, and he might lose another spot.
Well, 3 wide down the front stretch is Ryan Bowles there in that Weather Channel car. Decides that he wanted to go 3 wide down the front stretch. Schaus says, okay, I'll go 3 wide down the back stretch. Still clipping that apron.
Yeah, he's trying to. I think he's trying to use the apron to his advantage, and unfortunately, it's not very much of an advantage, as he's now lost 5 spots. Actually, more like 7 or 8 spots since the restart. So kind of gathered up.
I think he's doing it again. Let's watch. Is that more of an approach you want to take here, like in the stock cars, to help the car rotate around through here? Is get down there, maybe clip the apron a little bit? Because we know it just disrupts and upsets the Indy cars.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that you want to do on fresh tires for sure, especially if you can't get the car to turn. Maybe you want to flirt with it a little bit, touch the apron, just get the back of the car to kind of kick a little bit as he catches someone else, I believe that's teed up ahead of him, that touched the apron a little bit, and now looks like Schaus can get that spot back. But I think it's best to only use the apron if it's something that your car's not turning and you want to try and upset the car a little bit to get it to turn. It's not faster, but the car will turn. It'll keep you out of the outside wall.
Watching a battle right now between Hobson and Santos. Wherever Hobson tries to go, Santos is putting that car. Hobson to the inside here in one. Goes to the bottom, pushes up a little bit, almost crowds him on the car, but he had to let go, and here comes Glover. He's going to get the momentum on the high side and possibly get this position. He does. Here's Bowles. Bowles in the same situation. So you got to be careful here. We're racing so close here that one time you lift and you got to give up that momentum, it's going to cost you.
I think you mentioned that bump in turn one before. I think that's exactly what Hobson hit there. It upset him and put him down onto the apron, and the apron is not the best in 1 and 2 right now. I imagine you want to try and stay at least like about 2 feet above it, just to have the optimal line. Also, I think Hobson just kind of turned down a little bit too much there. He just did it again in 3 and 4.
Meanwhile, up front, Wagner, Forsyth, Stouffer, and Eckert kind of all hooked up and I don't know if they're really cooperating, but they are doing a very good job at pulling away from that second group. Let's get you the intervals here going on here in the field instead of the last lap feeds. We know how fast we're going now. 2/10 to Forsyth, 1/10 Stouffer, 2/10 to Eckert right there, and then a whole second back to Santos, who is racing right now. Was racing Schaus for the lead of that second group, but now it's kind of broken away. Lovern is now 6th. We are side by side with Hobson and Schaus now, going in the 1.
I believe Ryan Bowles just touched the outside wall in turn 2 just ahead of them. I don't think much damage there, so I think he's a little bit faster than Lovern right now. Just has to find the right opportunity to get by.
Yeah, you can clearly see on that little wing that sticks out from the winglet that sticks out from the side pod. We call it the ad blocker, but that is clearly damaged or scuffed up. There you go.
Yeah, the floor there, a little adjusted edge there. Bowles gets a little bit of dirty air here, keeps it off the wall, no issues. But yeah, we have a 4-car breakaway up front. And I'm mentioning that this low line situation, as the leader in the clean air, you can do whatever you want. You can run whatever sort of line feels comfortable to you, and it'll be very hard to get right by again. But these guys behind, especially Rafi in P4, is just doing everything he can to search for any sort of clean air he possibly can, save some tire life, save some fuel, see what he could do to try and outsmart these guys up ahead later on in the stint.
Very shortly, he's going to be joined by his teammates to shave 3/10 off that being in that second group. They were back about a second back. He's now 6/10 now back, so 4/10. He's going to be with this group really, really shortly.
Wreck in turn 4.
Oh, gosh.
It's actually quite a big one.
Ryan Bowles, I saw going head over. Oh, my goodness. He's going to have to tow, and unfortunately, and then execute the fast repair. Let's see what happens. It is Bowles and Lovern side by side. Bowles moves up in the Lovern, sending both sideways. Here comes Schaus. No place to go. He's collected. A.J. Hobson down low. He avoids it. Teed into it. Peterson goes below it. And I'm not sure who that was. Swinson? Not Swinson. Warren Rogers somehow net-coded through it.
Yeah, we were mentioning before that Bowles was a little bit faster than Lovern. He kind of sent it with everything he possibly could into turn 3, and unfortunately, just with the way that these tires are wearing, there was no way he was going to complete the pass without any sort of throttle modulation there, and unfortunately, it just Gary Lovern was an innocent bystander there, so it was a shame for those guys.
Oh, everybody back on the pit road. Nobody is staying out, so everyone is really concerned about tire wear, tire being king here. Everyone coming. Here comes Craig. Craig might have got Wagner off pit road. I don't know. We'll see how they reset. think Wagner just barely beat him out. Craig is now P2. Stouffer, his teammate, P3. And Santos and Eckert coming out in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that Ryan Bowles is not going to rejoin this race, even with the fast repair in hand. Gary Lovern is also probably not going to rejoin the race unless he's just kind of towing in the pits. I'm not really sure. I think Schaus also might be hanging out in the pit lane for a bit. And Schaus are missing a right front tire. So
yep. And this
is
is
in the pits for quite a while.
This is actually a result of, as you see here, what you see, the cars and these pieces. That's a result of a rare update that the DW12 got in the latest iRacing update. We now have a updated damage model. So Ryan Bowles.
Tell me more about that. I was unaware of that, actually.
Yeah, so as you see now, they're missing wheels, and normally we didn't have that. They would just kind of flop around, and then missing complete body parts. And now that when you come back into the pits, they'll replace those. Looks like Bowles is going to resume. He got his fast repair. He's going to be down 3 laps.
Yeah, I think Bowles' team went to go complain to Firestone to get them a new tire because the tire was missing for a while. But the tire randomly just appeared on the car, and now I'm pretty sure Schaus' team is kind of going to find where the Firestone garage is to get a freshly inflated tire for his car as well.
Yeah, so Schaus, I don't know if he had a longer tow or he did not have fast repair checked, and they're trying to manually repair everything. That's one of the dangers of having that box unchecked. But he is still on pit road. Lovern, he has rejoined the field. He is fully repaired again. But a lot of drivers, again, like we talked about, 20 laps just prior to this, we're now, 80% still to go in this race, and people have used up their first and only fast repair. So that's not really what they want. Now, meanwhile, up front, it's not the same story for Wagner. Wagner has not really had to fight very much, with the exception in the opening laps with Peterson. But other than that, he has been your leader and has pretty much dictated how he's going to drive this race.
We see Eric Schaus his teammate owner finally opened the wallet and
there he is,
and gotten his car back on track again. So I guess the team owner has found a way to write a check really fast in about 20 seconds during the pit stop to get a Firestone tire on there. So Eric Schaus is back out on track again. However, both he and Bowles are 3 laps down, so it'll be a very difficult situation to get them back into the fight again. But anything can happen.
Yeah. They'll need to take advantage of the IndyCar wave around rule. No lucky dogs or anything like that here. You just have to be, unfortunately, you have to put your car in the right place at the right time, and when everyone pits in front of you, you stay out, and then you get the wave around, and then hope for another caution very shortly after that. But Lovern and Bowles now occupy 13th and 14th. Schaus is 15th. Corley is out at 16th. Your leader is Matt Wagner. We're getting ready to go green. Wagner, Forsyth, Stouffer, your top 3. Here we go again. Lap 47 going green.
Let's hope that these guys can anticipate the restart speed and we have no checkups just like we had last time around. I hope that we can get through this. It looks like everybody is restarting in perfect manner. Nice clean restart, and Matt Wagner takes off with quite a hefty lead in turn 1 and 2.
Ralphie Eckert gets the drop on Edson. I don't know if that was a planned pass, but that was between teammates, and he gets the drop on him at the lead there. Might have just said, hey, I'm faster, let me go.
Right. It might be a tire situation, too, as maybe Edson was burning up his tires trying to catch up to the field, and
True.
Eckert still had a little bit of tire management left in him.
Well, actually, they stopped for a new set. They all stepped for a new set. So,
yes, yeah. Okay, the whole field stopped. Yeah, I was too focused on the cars that were broken in the pit lane instead of watching exactly what was happening.
It's that amazing damage model. AJ Hobson, though, and that makes this a threesome down the backstretch. So we got 2 trios leading the pack. And we're already the lap 50.
25% of the way there. Craig Forsyth is trying to find some clean air a little bit on the inside of Wagner. He has a great run out of turn 4 right there. I don't think he'll get the pass done without some sort of help, but he's really looking for that clean air and trying to find a way to get by on the outside and at least give Matt a little bit of an uncertainty of where he's going to place his car.
Let's ride along with Craig Forsyth. I don't even hear him lifting.
Talking about the Rafi and Edson situation, they switched spots, and look at them. They're right up to the back of Stouffer and the leaders right now. So this is actually going to get very interesting, because this is where you need to find the clean air, no matter where you are on the track. And 5 cars trying to find any sort of clean air is definitely a difficult situation. Stouffer really throws it into turn 3 there, and he may have to run on Craig somewhere going into turn 1.
Craig staying high. There's probably Stouffer underneath him there. We're riding along with Craig right now. He's not even lifting. They're not lifting at the moment. Sound like they have it in 5th gear, and they're just jamming right now.
So Rafi is really trying to find a way by. He got to the inside, and unfortunately it didn't work for him.
Yep. Overdrove the corner a little bit, so Eckert's going to have a run. No, he holds station. That second group of 3 is about ready to join that first group of 3, and they'll be there momentarily, and then we'll have a pack of 6 that we can throw a blanket over as your leaders right now. Coming to lap 57, going to complete lap 56 of 200.
Point situation definitely was a factor in that last incident as well. I neglected to mention before the fact that Matt Wagner and Eric Schaus are tied for the lead in the championship. I'm sure that Wagner is breathing a sigh of relief right now that Schaus had some sort of misfortune, that he could get some advantage, and I'm sure Matt Wagner is not going to want to try and give up any ounce of the lead right now, or any sort of situation
Santos,
where he would find himself in the back.
Yeah, Santos taking a look underneath Stouffer. Stouffer had to kind of check up down the backstretch. Not a good exit off of 2. Again, this track, big of momentum. Don't have a graphic for the points championship, but you make it a very good point. Schaus and Wagner were your co-leaders of the championship, and Edson Santos is P3. So Santos right now is a very interested party. He could possibly move up into second place in the championship if he has himself a good finish here today. Right now in P4, that would be the case if we were to get a checker flag right now. Jari Brubacher is in P4, and Jari is buried in the field at the moment in P8, kind of by himself with Putski back here further back in the top 10. If we were to finish right now, it'd still be a good points paying, but he wants to be up there with those leaders.
I hope I didn't upset Eric Schaus too much, because in the middle of my pontification there, Eric Schaus has decided to leave the race. So
that leaves 14. Oh, and Hobson. Okay, we're going to go back a little bit more on that one. So this is Rafi, I think, getting underneath him. He sends it.
A little bit of a netcode incident here.
He sent it, yeah, but he sent it, and yeah, we get a net code. And Hobson backs into the turn 4 fence. He might still be able to drive that to pit road, and if he can, he'll get his fast repair. But another caution, another use of a fast repair, as we are now 63 laps into this race.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Just very hard racing, very similar to the Bulls and Gary Lovern, I believe it was, incident we just saw. Just kind of trying to send it in a little bit low just to test it out and see what kind of situation you find yourself on the exit. But a little bit of internet glitch happened to influence itself here a little bit.
Yeah, and what that is it's just this is older code that these cars are. So it's predictive collision code, and iRacing thought with all of the parameters that there was going to be a collision there and went ahead and kicked that off, and of course there was no real contact. As we were talking about earlier, the wave around situation, Charles Teed is staying out, which is going to kind of put a wrench into the Peterson and Bowles plan to try to get a wave around. But as you mentioned earlier, Andrew, you said, I was surprised no one stayed out. based upon track position and how hard it is to pass here. Well, here it is. Teed's heard you, and he's staying out. He's now going to pick up the lead while everyone else behind him has gone in for the pits for another fresh set of tires.
Well, this will be a very whole different scenario where let's see how actual track position is key. Can Teed hang on and kind of maintain a top 5 position here, or will he just tank through the field? So every driver, every crew chief, every team is watching exactly what Teed is doing here to see what the situation would be if you just stay out on these older tires. And are they really old tires? They all stopped about, 18, 20 laps ago or so.
Yeah.
So they're kind of, they're broken in. They got one heat cycle on them, but they're not exactly old tires.
21 lap old tires, so they're in their adolescence, let's say that.
Yeah. The first life cycle of the tire.
Yep.
Of course.
Again, thanks for joining us as RaceVerse coverage on the DW12 series event coming to you from the Dark Horse DW12 series coming to you from Iowa Speedway. Charles Teed has assumed the lead here at lap now 65 of 200. We had about 3 caution sessions. Just everyone kind of overdriving the corners a little bit. Very fast pace here so far. From the in-car camera that we were riding with Craig Forsyth, I don't even think I heard Craig lift once, so we're at 100% throttle at least while the tires are fresh. We haven't really got to the point where the tires are going to be super worn yet. We'll also see how long Teed can go on this run. At this track, you can get into the, what is it, about the 60-lap mark, 70-lap mark on a full tank? Well, we're not on a full tank. We're at 75%. So we might be able to get into the 50-lap mark or so when it comes to fuel on these things.
Yeah, I believe it's 55 to 60 or so, based on this percentage of fuel. So that means that T would have been out there for about 20 laps or so. So, if we have another quick caution or a caution in about 25 to 30 laps, then everyone's going to jump into the pits, and then wherever he cycles out based on this restart, that's exactly where he'll be, which will be better than the P12, P13 he was running before.
Should be going green next time by.
Still fascinated by this truck. Iowa. That's probably a truck that's working out in the cornfield behind the track there. They just kind of rented it.
Well, normally those farm trucks are like, you don't need a key to start it. You stick a screwdriver in, and it has a rusted out license plate area. That's a pretty good condition farm truck.
I actually think that they probably just pulled that out from whatever back neighborhood is here in Newton, Iowa. So, whatever does the trick, right? If it's supposed to be the whole game, it's the whole game.
Going green, Charles Teed is your leader, and right behind him is Bowles. Bowles is 3 laps down in 14th. So right now, Wagner, if he does want to get in touch with Teed, needs to get around Bowles. And we will see if he can make that happen. Bowles is on 23-lap old tires as well.
This is the first time that Wagner's been in dirty air, so now he has to find a way to navigate. But it's good. It's a good learning opportunity for someone like Matt, who may find himself in dirty air later on in the race. So as frustrated as he might be in the moment, this is actually probably a good thing. I say Bowles might get his lap back here, or one of his laps back at least, until Wagner finds a way to get by again.
And it just follows him on through, really. Although Teed staying strong on the high side. High side, lots of momentum.
Yeah, and again, he's got less fuel and maybe a little bit more rubber.
And the draft of Bowles to help him.
And the draft of Bowles to help him, indeed. So Teed made a good choice here to stay out. Actually, that's kind of what I was thinking might be the play here. I don't like the going underneath rule, because then he's just going to get freight trained by, who is that, Craig up ahead of him. If I were Teed, I would say high, no matter what the cause is, dirty air or not dirty air, because then he'll just start to fall through the field.
Yep, and that's exactly kind of what he's doing right now. So he's going to get Craig underneath here for the pass. Well, holding tough again. High side, lots of momentum, as we were mentioning. Up in that third lane. Each one of these lanes is very workable, very drivable here at this racetrack.
shout out to Bowles, who is still holding station, and if a yellow were to come out right now, he would get one of his laps back, the freeway, rather than the way that he was hoping to get it on the last caution.
Teammates side by side going into one, Stouffer and Forsyth. Just a reminder of how to race your teammate. Rule 1, don't wreck your teammate. Rule 2, please refer to Rule 1. That's how you race your teammate. And they're side by side. Ooh, comes up a little bit. Craig gives him room. Not much room to give there. He's kind of sandwiched in on all sides, and then there's a wall.
Yeah, unfortunately, Teed is kind of a cork in the bottle here right now. So it was a good strategy move, and I don't disagree with anything that he did.
Nope.
Things can totally change here, but Stouffer is just stuck on the bottom. And it looks like
Forsyth comes out with the Brazilian clear and gets it.
It's not done yet, though. Stouffer's going to try high, and then, of course, got the Santos and Rafi train coming right behind.
And Teed now takes a peek to the inside, going in the one. Going to hit that bump, but he goes up the hill, and I think he hit that bump, and he's in the wall.
Yeah, that's what happens when you hit the bump rung. And hopefully he could just bring it down to the pit road without bringing out a caution.
Yeah, I think so.
Unfortunately, you have to commit to the high line no matter what you do. If you're on the old tires, just make every person try and pass you low. It doesn't really matter. You're not racing against the other people. You're just trying to get track position and stay out front. And unfortunately, Teed tried to get a little cheeky to race on the inside a few times. But when your tires are that worn, you can't just jump to the bottom and expect your car to respond accordingly.
But if teams are taking notes and drivers are taking notes, that really was not a bad strat at all. He was hanging tough pretty well, that if someone wanted to do that later in the race, it now makes it for a plausible opportunity to try as a strategy.
Well, take Teed out of the picture. You still have Ryan Bowles, who is racing up front with Matt Wagner, still and that's on the same strategy.
That's the comparison I was getting ready to make. Is we're watching this Bowles and Wagner, which is not a battle for position. It's just a battle to get back on the lead lap for Bowles, or another, not the lead lap. We'll bring him back 2 laps down, but it's just an illustration of what older tires can do against newer tires here at Iowa. Ralphie Eckert
close
now.
One with Eckert. Yes.
Oh yes.
That was very close.
Eckert way up in the 3rd lane. And I
think that was on purpose. I think he was just trying to catch his breath from the almost moment he had in turn 2 and forgot there was a turn 3 coming up on this very short track.
Let's see if we can see that, what happened there. Is down low. Is going to hit that bump. Yeah, you see the car kind of shake on the bump. That's going to shoot him up the racetrack. This is really not an example of a Brazilian clear, but it's an example of hitting that bump and then giving the guy in front of you a slide job. And almost. But he's recovered himself. He is back to 4th. Santos is 5th. And Jari Brubacher is now into the picture here in 6th, JB. And the plain white wrapper iRacing DW12.
Pretty quiet night for Jari so far, and he stayed out of trouble, and here he is racing in top 6.
13 cars still in the race. Lap 86 of 200. Track cams are provided by Track Cams for Gourmets. Check them out, Track Cam 22. You can choose your own track cams for your own iRacing experience as well from them. TrackCam22.com.
Bowles touched the apron and came very close to the outside wall. I think he just touched the side walls against it, but that strategy is over now as he's gotten completely freight trained by everybody that was behind him.
Let's see, maybe we can catch that again. Yeah, there he is, right off the... Go back another 5 more seconds. So, yeah, again, it looks at right in the bottom. Yep, caught the bump and the apron at the same time.
It was a glorious opportunity to find the clean air, but unfortunately the bump sent him right down to where he did not want to be. So unfortunate for Ryan there. Now he's got very little chance of picking up one of his laps back unless something crazy happens ahead of him. But yeah, as we were mentioning before, the staying out strategy may be something to employ later on in the race, or even if these guys in the back want to make it happen. We got to caution.
Hobson again.
I always like to say Hobson loves to dig, but sometimes the dig is a little too much.
So here's Hobson with that's Casey Putski right behind him in the black and white, or the black and chrome Velocity car.
Yeah, this was not a dig by Hobson at all. I take that back. It looks like someone got some air here.
I think Putski just kind of up and just into the rear bumper. And then Putski launches himself. And thankfully, right now, I think it's just a two-car incident. But that's not a good thing for Hobson, because I think his fast repairs are used up.
Yeah, I think this is the end of the road for Mr. AJ Hobson, unfortunately. But I think Pahutski still has he has some fast repair left.
Yeah, he's still rolling.
Not sure if he was collected in that first big incident where the multiple cars at the back of the field got collected or not, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and Putski executes the fast repair. We see his car snapping back into place. So now that gives Bowles a chance. Well, he got the one position over Hobson, so now move Bowles up to 12th. He's staying out. So this is going to be a wave around to bring him 2 laps back to closer to the lead pack.
This is one of those hope that there's a quick caution situations, because how much you really want to try and risk something like this, because if you have to pit on your green, you're going to lose 2 laps anyway.
Oh, no, he's going to pit. No, pump fake.
Fake.
Pump fake.
I don't really get that, but maybe he's just trying to spice up his night a little bit.
Could be also one of those things if he has a human spotter. Pit, don't pit, don't pit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, his poor spotter's sitting up there in the dark, trying to figure out how to make his night a little bit more exciting.
Once again, just joining us, welcome back. If you're watching RaceVerse coverage of round 2 of the Dark Horse DW12 series, coming to you from Iowa, where Matty Wagner still leads with 94 of 200 complete. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. We got, of course, another week full of racing this week. ISRA Truck Series tomorrow night. Top split of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night. Wednesday night, hopefully we have some more DW12 racing with the ISRA DW12 series. And then Thursday night, we will have the Formula Indy series coming to you from Long Beach. Ryan Bowles hitting pit road, so he is not going to get that wave around.
I guess he really just didn't want to pit on the last time, I suppose. I guess he wanted to wait a little bit.
Yeah, he's still going to have I think still 2 more stops to go. So, or 1 more stop after this. If we go the 50, yeah, at least 1 more. But he's down on the way. New set of tires. And they will cycle him back to his spot. But everybody eyes toward the lead again, and it's Matty Wagner. And that looks like Bobby Rahal MGD draft throwback.
Yeah, I like it, but it looks more like the Raul Boisel colors.
Yeah, it does. It does come off as a little bit of a Duracell vibe. And of course, right behind him, Craig Forsyth in that player's Forsyth livery from the 90s. And no, it's not the same Forsyth family, just has the same last name, that's all. Stouffer is in P3. And then, of course, the Brazilian duo of Eckert and Santos, and 4th and 5th. And Jari Brubacher up into 6th. Warren Rogers, we really haven't talked much about him. He was he kind of morphed through a wreck earlier. He has now worked his way into 7th spot. Gary Lovern in that Dvor green entry, working into 8th. William Swinson is 9th. Casey Putski, who just executed his fast repair, is 10th. Peterson, he is, despite being among the early leaders, kind of floated to the back, hanging out here in 11th, still on a lead lap. Ryan Bowles is 12th between those two. Getting ready to go green. 12 cars still running, 11 on the lead lap. Here we go, lap 97 of 200, just shy of the halfway mark. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. It is Dark Horse DW12 racing at Iowa. Green flag in the air. Here we go again.
I think Gary Lovern kind of was a little bit unsure when the cars ahead were going. I'm sure he didn't want to get caught up in an incident, but everyone is clean away and going. Yeah, so Craig Forsyth is up the most amount of positions, 6 positions from his starting spot. He's just been Wagner's wingman here, just riding in his coattails, and I don't think Stouffer is going to want to just sit here and allow that to continue to keep happening. So something's going to happen here soon, I believe, in this top 3. Someone's got to try and find a way to outsmart Wagner. I just find it so interesting how the lines just need to keep changing. It seems that everybody's just taking the optimal arcing line down to the bottom for the beginning of the race when they need to find clean air. It almost seems like the dirty air really doesn't take effect until the cars get at their maximum speed and they're trying to find a way to get to the top or to the bottom to try and find an advantage once the tires wear, because everybody's taking the optimal line for these first 5 or so laps.
Yeah, I figured maybe somebody would want to stay a little bit higher to save those tires for later in the run, but right now they're all kind of monkey see, monkey do. Not everybody. Stouffer's running a little bit higher than everyone else. I think it's just trying to get some extra wind on that right front element of his.
We see Gary Lovern getting by Warren Rogers for P7 in the back there as they lose track to the top 6 a little bit. And the top 6 just stay lockstep. It's very interesting that there's no dirty air that really comes into effect until once the tires really start to feel it, and then you have to adjust very quickly to find a way to get your speed back and your momentum back. Very close to the apron in turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, Stouffer with a good run down the backstretch. So the second line starting to come in a little bit.
At a place like Iowa, you really have to choose a lane and commit to it. You can't waver. If you try and halfway put yourself on the bottom and then you miss it, you're just going to walk up the track, as we saw with quite a few people in turn 1 and 2 in particular, especially with that bump there.
Let's ride with Stouffer, chasing down your leaders. The late apex is the turn. Everyone else early apex is the turn.
Oh, we have Rafi touching the apron in turn 1. He's going to lose a spot, maybe 2 if Yari gets by him as well.
A time in 3 and 4 stays in the second lane the entire time. Let's go back and check out Rafi.
Yeah, it leads me to believe that these guys really are digging. They're digging in turn 1 and 2. They want to get as close to the apron without actually touching it as possible, because if you get to the bottom there, you'll have the best shot coming out at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, but that bump is so disruptive in turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, but good drivers will find a way to use it to their advantage. You know, like you just have to get the right arc going down there, because if you hit the bump the right way and then place your front tire right on that yellow line, that's your best situation. It's very hard to do. It's actually, you have to hit it like almost perfectly. As we see, Forsyth just touched it there, and Stouffer is trying to take advantage a little bit, possibly can, but wasn't able to in 3 and 4.
That second group of 3 lost track. Now they're back in contact. So back again, top 6 kind of running together. Stouffer, great run off 2 again on the backstretch. Back to the attenuator of Forsyth. Up in that second lane. Stays in that second lane. Goes to the third lane on corner exit.
Rafi gets high again in turn 4. He almost smacked the wall on the exit. He's really trying to find any possible line he can.
Let's ride along with Rafi. See what's going on there in the 74. He wants to go right down to the bottom. You can just hear the car hit that bump. We'll be quiet next time by where you can hear the car hit that bump. Oof. Got to really roll out of it that time. Here he comes in the one. Here, listen for the bump. Right there.
It's crazy the amount of sound that these guys provide you, especially if you ride along, you could see exactly what they hear, what they feel, what they see. It's really a great experience.
And you said the bump is the result of the tunnel going to the infield, and also as a result of the vicious Iowa winters.
Ooh, Forsythe misses turn
Forsythe
3 and 4 a little bit.
We're watching that. He just kind of floated up.
Man, you see Stouffer is just waiting for any moment where Forsythe could possibly get it wrong. It looks like Forsythe's actually starting to struggle a little bit. His lines have been a little bit weird for the last couple of laps. He almost followed Matt right onto the apron right there. I think Stouffer is ready to bite at any moment because Stouffer seems to be hitting the lines a little bit better right now.
Yeah, watch Stouffer in one. Ooh, Craig almost again into the wall. Watch him. He gets this late arc, and he kind of hits a different portion of the bump that kind of almost helps his car turn.
Yeah, if you're Stouffer right now, you're looking out the front and the back. You're trying to not hit the dirty air, and you're trying to also find a way to not let the guy behind you get a little bit quicker there. But I believe that Stouffer's kind of got a better strategy right now. He's getting right in Forsythe's head, which is exactly what he's trying to accomplish, and then hopefully he gets the pass done.
One more lap, watch exit, and it, boom, hits that bump right there, kind of at a diagonal, and it kind of helps his car turn a little bit. That's at least what it looks like to me. But in the meanwhile, Wagner off to about a 0.5 of a second lead now.
Yeah, Forsythe has either been distracted with something else going on in his own setting, or he's just picked the wrong line to run for the last bunch of laps. As I mentioned, when you're the leader, you can kind of run any line you want. If you're second place, you're trying to run the optimal line, but you're also trying to run kind of midway and find the clean air. But I think Craig picked up on the fact that Stouffer was running a little bit more optimized than he was. So I think it threw him off his game a little bit, which allowed Matt to get a bit of a breakaway.
Check it out, chat. Lionheart Racing Series. Those guys have joined us. Good to have them in here. And Austin Espedy says here, I'm here for the heckling of Woodith.
Yeah, I always tell my friends to come heckle me a little bit. adds a little bit of flavor to the broadcast, especially if you're racing. Oh, we got Stouffer has quite a
good
close run into turn one there.
He's going to stay high.
I think Craig is having some difficulty with the car, or something's just not going right inside that sim right now.
And now Wagner off to 0.6. That time by Stouffer was not the fastest, but he was only a 10th off. I mean, can't run the guy over in front of you, I guess.
Unfortunately, the problem for Stouffer right now is that he can't take that bottom line without risk of pushing up, which we saw in those couple incidents beforehand. So, yeah, it's kind of you're in a stuck moment right now. You have to really try and throw it in there and throw the guy off their game on the high side, or keep racing the high side and hope that something opens up for you. I think Stouffer's got to run here.
Here he goes, inside of the one. Clears him.
I don't think he hit the bump at all, actually. I'm trying to figure out what line that was, that there was no bump involved. I saw the car was perfectly placed right to the inside, didn't get upset one bit. I'm wondering if Craig might have touched the wall somewhere, that maybe he's suffering from a little bit of downforce issues, because now we got, what was this, Edson? Or is that Rafi? Yeah, we got Rafi coming up to also get by Craig. He's going to have a nice solid run. Oh, maybe looks like Rafi kind of held off a little bit.
I don't see, we don't get very many views of that side of the car with the camera packs. I don't see anything on there, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't see anything either, but it just seems a little strange to me that Craig has just managed to lose so much pace, and he's not able to get the mid-corner to the exit speed that he was getting beforehand that allowed Matt to pull away and Chris to get by. Here's
a shot from the RaceVerse 1 airships. Everyone say hello to TC. We're still looking at 72 degrees track temperature, 68.4 degrees Fahrenheit is the ambient. Very comfortable night for racing. Of course, the real NTT IndyCar Series will be here later in the season. We'll go through the field real quick. Good opportunity as we are down 132 of 200 as we're quickly ticking these things off, as we're also 39 laps into a stint. So pit stops are coming soon, rather. Green flag pit stops, and that's going to be a whole other battle because they have to enter pit road off the backstretch. So Wagner is your leader. Stouffer has moved up to second. He is up 5 spots, joined by his teammate right there, Craig Forsyth, also up 5 spots. The Brazilian duo of Leader Energy, Team Leader Energy, Eckert and Santos is P4 and 5. Jari Brubacher is in 6th. Gary Lovern 7th. There is a battle for position as Lovern has now brought the battle to JB. Casey Putski not too far behind this battle. He is in 8th. Warren Rogers right there in a battle with William Swinson in 10th. And Ryan Bowles, kind of the sandwich between these battles between 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th. He is right now 3 laps down, just kind of logging laps, hoping for a little bit more attrition to get himself a top 10. Jari Brubacher might have smacked the wall, and he is now slow on the racetrack.
Yeah, I was going to mention also Eric Peterson pulled it into the pits about 15 laps ago. He was having some internet blinking problems from what it seems, so he's now out of the race as well, sitting in pit lane watching the race.
Hate that. Jari with Lovern underneath him going into turns 3 and 4. He is really high on corner entry, and I think he's going to smack the wall, or maybe he's going to get some help. Oh no, he got a little assistance. And he hit it pretty square, but it's going to be damaged nevertheless. And Putski tries to take a look to the inside now of Lovern on the apron. I think he gets the position.
You call that square. I call that rear hit, front hit. Flat to the other. So that's enough damage, I feel, that will knock that thing out of proportion quite a bit. So yeah, Yari's going to have a little bit issue here, and again, you don't want to pit because as soon as you pit, you go 2 laps down and that time back, then that's it. You're in a Ryan Bull situation where you're falling back. But that car is not going fast right now, and he could be a hazard to any of the leaders that might come up to him. So I feel that Jari probably should bring it in and get that thing repaired.
All right, all happening while we're going through the field. Brubacher now falling back to 10th, kind of hemorrhaging time at the moment. 141 of 200. Everybody's pretty much done 49 laps of this current stint. And now Stouffer has caught up to Wagner. And
Stouffer is doing the same thing to Wagner as he did to Forsyth. He's tickling that outside line, and Wagner is trying the bottom, and I think Stouffer is going to get him right now.
Yep, last 5 laps, Stouffer's been faster by a 10th. And he pulls off.
Oh, he hits the bump the wrong way, and Wagner gets the over-under. I still think the high line's best in 3 and 4, so I think Stouffer's gonna win out here. But that was very, very close for Stouffer in turn 1.
Yeah, I think Wagner kind of lifted a little bit, knowing that he was going to slide up in the corner, and instead of causing the collision, checks up, let him have the position, tries to recover himself, knowing that there's still a pit stop, and we still have 60-ish so laps to go, but we still have a pit stop to go to, and a lot of other stuff can still happen. Pit road
Rafi
speed
is all over. Rafi's all over Craig now as well.
Go back. All right.
As Craig continues to fall back, I don't know if he's got a bad set of tires or something, but he is continuing to fall back from the leaders, and now Rafi is battling and trying to find the proper line to get by Craig here. You've got to watch out for Jari here on the outside, but once he clears them, that battle will continue to resume.
Yeah, Yari's doing a good job of keeping it high so everyone can go
Wagner
low.
As well.
Okay, Wagner on pit road. So this is pitting at lap 146 for Wagner.
Stouffer is also coming down into turn 3 and about to do his pit stop as well.
I guess like Putski's on pit road. Stouffer went a little bit longer. He's now entering pit road right now. He's a lap ahead of Wagner, and Wagner has been as soon as pit has not hit his stall yet. That's what I'm getting ready to say. So Wagner's out there in his stall, up on the pneumatic jacks, a new set of rubber all the way around, full tank that should get him to the end.
We were mentioning before that it's about 55 or so, 50 to 55
and
laps
that's
on the
what
stop.
he hit.
So
That's what he hit.
This must be the end of the race. First to pit. Hopefully the
Eckert
first
in.
checkered flag.
Eckert in. Forsyth now in. Stouffer coming off pit road. Santos coming off pit road.
If Warren Rogers, that was just kind of stopped off to the side, but it looks like he's rolling again. Not sure what that was about.
And he's staying to the inside. Might have a pit road penalty, so he's going to stay to the inside. It looks like he has some front end damage.
Yeah, it looks like he got some wheel spin exiting the pit lane and touched the inside with the left front and kind of waited for everyone to come out of the pits behind him and kept going. So
Eckert
yeah,
on
a little
pit
bit
road.
of damage there.
Yep. Eckert down and away, and see if he comes out in front of Stouffer. No. Eckert wheel spin.
Forsyth's also going to get by, but here
Oh,
comes
Wagner.
Matt with a head of speed.
That was an
We got
interesting
Eckert
pass.
spinning out of turn 4.
Caution.
Yeah, Eckert, I think, just got a little kind of confused as to what was going on around him. The next thing you know, the back of the car is coming around. No contact, just a 360.
Here's that pass that we just saw. As he was coming off pit road, he's trying to get up to speed. There's a pass. Wagner catches Forsyth at the entrance of 3. Meanwhile, Eckert's still trying to come up to speed, and he gets passed by both of them. And now he's on cool tires, and whoop, the back end right around.
I have to say, what a heads up kind of looking ahead move from Wagner there. Just, I think Forsyth there's something going on with his car that just does not fire off quite well, and I think with the amount of speed that Eckert had coming off the pit lane and Forsyth kind of struggling with something, Wagner was able to just split the difference there and throw Eckert completely off his balance, and I think he kind of forgot that he was on cool tires there, and around he went.
Yeah, trying to get
he didn't hear anything, and it was all good.
Yeah, I almost collected this Edson Santos' team. I was going to try to grab that replay of how Santos had to avoid that, but missed that. So someone's going to wave around there. So interesting. We do get to see green flag pit stops, but as soon as we go through the pit stop cycle, then we immediately go yellow. So we're less than 50 to go here at Iowa.
It looks like no one really lost out here. I think the whole pit cycle got completed before that incident happened there. So no one's got trapped laps down and all sorts of stuff here. But again, we put Matt Wagner in a situation where he is going to be in dirty air, and Stouffer is going to find himself in clean air. So how does Wagner respond? How does Wagner take any sort of strategy or driving style from when he was behind both Bowles and Charles T before and use that to get by Chris Stouffer? This will be the very exciting last 45 laps here, I think. Yeah,
there's still a lot of racing to go. We got the Brazilian fan club in chat, rooting for the Brazilian team. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash like, click subscribe if you have not done so already. Got a lot more IndyCar action here on RaceVerse all week long. We are packed with broadcasts going through now. I think we had something. I think we're in the neighborhood now of like 80 broadcasts remaining between now and the middle of June. So if you're wanting IndyCars of all types, IR05, DW12, IR18, all right here on RaceVerse. Even a little bit of truck action with the ISA Truck Series. Thanks for joining us, though. Myself and the Catalyst Andrew Wood here at Iowa for the Dark Horse DW12 series. This is round 3. We had 2 rounds already.
Busy guy you are, Gary.
What's
Busy
that?
guy you are. Keeping yourself loving all this commentating. it's all great stuff, and I'm sure everybody that's watching really appreciates all the time you put into this.
And the third race into the season, we started off at Kansas. Edson Santos won that race. Then a couple weeks ago at Pocono, Eric Schaus, who is unfortunately out of this race, he's finished, going to be classified in 15th, won that race as well.
Just want to note we had Yari, Gary Lovern, and Casey all come in, put some fresh rubber on. It's a very interesting kind of thing to do from the back here, and maybe that'll work out for them, for some of these guys that might have already have a heat cycle on their tires.
Yep.
It's a good strategy to do from the back. When you have nothing to lose, you can't make up any ground as it is. Just put on some fresh tires. Hopefully, later on in the stint, maybe you'll have a little bit more pace if you continue to conserve those tires when those original tires kind of go off. It's just something you do when you're at the back of the field to try and give yourself maybe a slight bit of advantage to pick up a couple more spots that you may not ordinarily get.
Might as well, and then also you're probably not worried about fuel, and I don't think anybody's going to be really worried about fuel from this point forward anyways. But then we're starting to line up for the restart. Let's reset the field real quick. So for your leader, Matt Wagner, who has led much of the day, is in P2. Craig Forsyth did not have the greatest stint the last time, but he is now in third with a fresh set of tires. Edson Santos looking to capitalize the most on the points situation, currently second in the points, only 9 points behind Schaus and Wagner, looking to at least make up one spot, and his teammate Rafi Eckert right behind him. That is your top five, and we are going green, lap 157.
Let's also mention that William Swenson is the highest gainer, up 8 spots from P14 starting to P6 right now, so congrats to Swenson. Let's see if he can hold it.
A three-car battle back here with Brubacher, Pletzky, and Lovern. They made things real tight for a moment. I believe Brubacher executed his fast repair, so he should be at 100%. He might be able to run through these guys. We know that he's had pace all season long.
Yep, all three of them were the three tire grabbers, though, in that last lap before coming to green there. So they're all trying to jockey for whoever the best of the fresh tires is. Looks like Gary's going to make a move on Casey right here into turn 3. Gary successfully completes the pass, and Casey now falls back to P9. Looks like Warren Rogers has also called it a day after this incident there.
Underneath. Craig Forsyth, oh my goodness, almost got his way up to second. He sent it, and that's gonna. He had to check up, and it cost him momentum. Here comes Santos, could not get it out fast enough. Everything was happening so quickly here. Up for P3.
I think Craig hit the apron in 3 and 4. He dug a little too much. He did the AJ Hobson dig, and unfortunately it wound up with him now possibly losing his spot for Edson Santos.
After this week, and there goes Forsyth, we're off a week, and then we go to Homestead for the Homestead 188. And if memory serves me well, this man right here, Craig Forsyth, won the Lionheart Speedway Series race here that they had back in 2023 or 2022. So we're getting ready to go to a track that's on the schedule next at Forsyth in the DW12 has run against some very stout competition and came up on top. So I'm sure if he can get by here with a good finish, he's definitely looking forward to Homestead. Side by side with Wagner, each one of them trying to give room. Wide on the front stretch here at Iowa. Three lanes wide, or maybe 3.5 in the corners. But you can put your car in each one of them. They'll stick to the inside bottom lane, trying to take a look at Wagner. Going to float back up. Going to keep it off Wagner. No net code execution there.
These guys were definitely holding out on us, Gary.
Yeah,
this
I know.
Whole first half of the race. Look at them go. Stouffer doesn't know what lane to block. He's trying to find some way to stay ahead. Forsyth is suddenly.
I thought we were going to go 3 wide there for a second.
Yes, Forsyth is suddenly out of nowhere in the last stint, where he couldn't really get anything working, is now making the bottom lane work. And Wagner's just kind of boxed in and trying to find something on the high side. This is great racing right now.
Oh, and clear.
Edson is trying his best to find a way to make himself relevant in this as well. Oh, Wagner's touched the bump. That's going to hold up Edson. Oh, Edson's going to push up the track.
Oh,
and
and that put Wagner into the wall.
Oh my goodness, that was sending it for sure.
And now, I mean, that's going to have right there. That's championship implications right there, because Santos was looking to gain the most here out of the points, and he might have driven the corner a little bit, and he pushed right up into Wagner, whether he wanted to or not, and caused contact.
I don't. That's a tough one for me. There was a car up high there. I think the cars got connected when they really shouldn't have, but in my opinion, Edson had a little too much entry speed there, where he really could have been a little bit more courteous to his competitor on the high side. But look at Forsythe. What has gotten into him from last stint to this stint? He is doing the exact same moves on him that Stouffer was doing to him on the last stint, and really putting a lot of pressure on exactly what Stouffer's optimal line is here.
Well, maybe he's got someone taking notes for him, and he was looking in the rearview mirror, which he had Stouffer in a lot in the last stint, and noticed that where he was working, and then is able to duplicate what he was running before himself, and is staying in this battle.
Yeah, we have Rafi and Edson, who really can't decide which one of them wants to lead right now, because they keep swapping positions in third and fourth. I think Rafi's going to try and take it from here to try and take the fight up to the top two.
Yeah, I don't know if that team has a lead car or not, but I know Rafi at least is the defending champ of the VOR DW12 series. Edson has more to gain here in the points here in the Dark Horse DW12 series. Wagner is back at it. He's under full power.
Yeah, it was more of a square hit than your Yari square hit from before. So I don't think Matt really took on too much damage. Maybe just a scuff on that floor, which you were mentioning for one of the drivers before. I think Matt's going to find his way back up front, but we have about 24 laps to go here, and Stouffer is sweating bullets here. I could tell just by how he's driving it and the lines he's taking in these corners. Forsythe has definitely found something here. He's playing around with a whole different entries, exits, mid-corner speeds here, and I think he's going to really take the fight here in the last 10 laps or so as we close in with about 20 laps to go.
Edson Santos with the purple lap of the race, 192 flat, right up there near a qualification speed, very, very fast. And that was a speed time of 16.655 seconds. A very dizzying laps here. Here's our last lap speeds. We're still in the high 180s.
And yeah, shout out to William Swenson holding on strong there, P6, biggest climber of the race from 14 to 6. So if he gets 6th place, then he'll get that award for highest climber of the race, and kept the car pretty clean. I don't think he's been in the pits for any fast repairs, so shout out to that as well.
He is a second and a half back from Wagner and a second and a third ahead of Lummer, so he's just kind of in his own little bubble at the moment. And all he really needs to do is just click off these next 20 laps and clock himself a top 10 here. But still a long way to go still. A lot can happen here on a track that takes 16 seconds to lap. Stouffer is your leader. Forsythe is in his wheelhouse, but underneath him, here comes Rafi Eckert trying to get this position.
Yeah, I think Eckert is digging for different lines here. He's trying low, he's trying high. He has Stouffer's 30
up in the third lane all the way around there.
Yeah, these drivers at this point, the tires are starting to wear, especially they pitted on like lap, what was that, 150?
Yeah, we were about 30.
148 or something.
Yeah, 148.
149.
Forsythe with 149, and actually his tires are kind of in the same lap state as they were when he started to fall off on his stint last stint. There we go. Using the word stint twice. But he is still hanging on. He's got the momentum up top. Coming to 15 to go. I think his tires are spinning.
I don't know if that high lane in 1 and 2 is really the way to go. Picking the second or third lane in 3 and 4 is good, but you got to get down low in some way to avoid that bump in 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think.
Rafi picks wrong there.
Oh, and washes up. Yeah. Let's ride along with Rafi and watch these final laps tick away. And in the meantime, these two are battling. This is exactly what Chris wants to see as he drives away. He's the leader by 0.6. Eckert underneath. Oh, he had the roll out of it.
Gotten by.
Yeah, he had the roll out of it and almost hits the rear bumper.
Yeah, Wagner gets back by Edson Santos. Probably a gentlemanly swap there as Edson and Matt made contact about 20 laps ago. So Matt's back up to P4. Didn't lose too much in his championship there, as now he's back ahead of Edson again.
Yep. Watching this battle between Eckert and Forsyth again as Stouffer is getting away. Now 8/10. Eckert's now struggling with tires that aren't agreeing with him either. Up in that third lane. Get a big run down the front stretch in the draft of Forsyth. Going to take a peek to the inside. I don't think he can pull it off down there. Yeah, he had to roll out of it way too much. Otherwise, he was going to drift up and make contact. Down to the bottom again on corner 3 and 4. Bringing it out wide in the draft. Start-finish line, 10 to go. Coming to 10 to go, excuse me.
The bottom in 3 and 4 is just a death wish if you want to try and complete the corner and not wash out at all. It's good to try and get behind the car and have a draft down the front straightaway if you can get it, but you're not going to be able to complete the pass down there, so it has to be done in 1 and 2.
We'll step back a car and get back in over the head here of Matty Wagner and watch this battle in front of him as Rafi is looking for a line, just cannot find it for him at the moment. Craig is doing a good job of just sticking his car where it needs to be. Forsyth Stouffer's now off to a 1.2 second lead. That is the biggest lead we've seen any leader have all race long. That might as well be a 2-lap lead because that's huge at the moment.
I got a comment on. I don't know what's up with Forsyth's car. It just kind of stops working really well about halfway through the stint, which is what we saw last time around when Stouffer got by. Oh, Rafi touches the apron, and that might be the end of it there until he gains more momentum. But we're running out of time here as we're only got 6 laps to go.
As 6 to go. They're going to tick off fast here at 16 seconds a pop. Stouffer, your leader by 1.3. The battle on the racetrack right here. We're watching it. This is for second between Craig Forsyth and Rafi Eckert. Slowly creeping back into this is Matt Wagner. Maybe he might be a part of the picture here as we get to the closing stages. Yeah, Eckert's struggling.
Well, Matt also touched the third lane there, which did not help his chances at all. You need to get down in turn 1 and 2 on this setup, so he needs to find a way to get low. He straddles the third lane again, and it's not getting him anywhere. So it looks like it's going to be a 2-car battle for P2.
Stouffer finished on the podium after driving from a wreck at Pocono. Got his fast repair, new set of tires, started in the field like at 6th on the restart. Drove her back up to the podium at Pocono, now looking squarely at a win here at Iowa in round 3 of the Dark Horse DW12 series. We have now 2 laps to go. Chris Stouffer looking for his first win of the season. Forsyth right behind him. Rafi Eckert right in his tire tracks.
Rafi tried high there. That's an interesting strategy, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think you really got to throw it low in turn 1 and 2 here.
White flag in the air. Chris Stouffer just needs to bring it back half a lap. He's now
the wall right there that Eckert just got riding that third lane.
3 and 4 and checkered flag. Chris Stouffer with the win here at Iowa. Craig Forsyth P2, Rafi Eckert P3. Wagner with a good recovery, but I'm sure he's not happy with where he finished in P4. Santos in Pig 5. Gary Lovern got around Swinson and came home 6th. Swinson
last
7th.
Corner.
Yeah.
He passed Swenson coming to the checkered flag. I think Swenson got a little scared on the underside of him, and Gary passes him. Nice move.
Let's check that out and see if we can see that. As everyone's kind of starting to collect themselves. He washed up in front of him and had to kind of check it in turn 2. And Lovern had the run, cuts down. And now they have a race to the line for a half lap here at Iowa. And Lovern
pretty cheeky move, if you ask me.
Yeah. Lovern just kind of drives away on the bottom, kind of starts pushing up again. Maybe scared Swenson a little bit to roll out of it, but he stays there. Doesn't give much room to the wall, and tries to tuck in behind to maybe get one more run at it. But just it's a short track, just not enough time, not enough room. So Lovern up to 6th on a last lap, last corner pass.
And you got Casey Pahutski finishes a solid P8, also up 7 spots, similar to Swenson. Now that he got past in the last lap, it looks like Swenson and Pahutski are tied for gaining 7 spots there.
Yeah.
Then Yari P9. And then Ryan Bowles is our only other finisher, 3 laps down in P10.
Yeah, the remainder of the field there, Warren Rogers 11th, Peterson 12th, Thompson 13th, Charles Teed 14th, Schaus is 15th, and Corley and Hobart 16th and 17th, but I don't think Hobart made the start. I'm not sure, but 17-car field, and that's how it is classified. All right, let's go check the interview room, and let's bring up those lucky 3 and see if Eckert's there. He's not. And so we'll just go ahead and bring down Craig first. And we'll bring in Rafi if he shows up any later here. So bring it down, Craig Forsyth. Hey, Craig, got you in the booth with Gary and the catalyst, Andrew Wood. We both noticed that as we got into the later parts of the stints, both the last 2 stints, you were having a tough time with those tires. Just didn't suit your driving style and just had to kind of hold on there, or what was going on?
I was desperately trying to make enough fuel to make it to the end. I needed to make 1 extra lap of fuel on that second last stop or second last stint, at which point I told Chris he needed to get by me or we were going to lose Matt. But at that point I was able to make 1 extra lap of fuel, which I knew I needed to be able to make the drive at the end. I think Chris was still going to be good because when he came out, he immediately got lap traffic. But I mean, in the end, the caution neutralized that strategy anyway.
Go ahead, Andrew. Or Andrew not. Okay, so
if anything, I've got to call out to Eric. I thought it was netcode on our hit on during what was it, like lap 15 or something, and on watching it, it was Craig being an old person with bad reflexes apparently.
All right. Well, yeah. We know that when we saw that happen, we figured that you were probably going to be hard on yourself about it. So that's normally the worst kind of punishment. But go ahead, Andrew. You're here. Go ahead and ask the question for Greg.
I was hitting. I had my own sort of old man issue. I was hitting the wrong button and talking, and nothing was coming through. So, hi, Craig. Nice job. Nice job on your race there. So you were mentioning the fuel situation there. What was the fuel amount of laps you guys were projecting there? I thought it was something around like a 50 to 55 situation, and with the last stop being around like 148, 149, it seemed like you guys might have been good, but you know, with this car, you can't really do much fuel saving unless you're directly behind someone. So when did you first figure out that you were in a fuel scenario, and did you hit on the right time, or were you just trying to try and overcut or undercut someone?
No, yeah, I mean, we had 70% fuel. So for me in liters, it was 51.5 instead of 70 liters. And you do roughly a liter a lap. You'll do 107 at the front with your foot to the floor, and you can do as little as 0.93. When you're fuel saving. So that has because the laps are only 16 seconds and you're only using a liter in that range, it only takes 10 laps to save an extra lap of fuel type scenario. So you can, your plus minus is 7 or 8 laps, depending on how you've done fuel saving. So when it was in like the 55, 54-ish laps, that was where it's likely makeable, but you're going to need to stay behind someone, and you definitely can't lead. So you're having to calculate. I think when Matt came out, and then I came out, I came out at speed. I was trying to make sure that Matt came out in front of me, so that I would be able to draft behind him, because we knew Matt wasn't going to be able to make it without a caution. And then I think Raf, he coming out of the pits, lit it up a little too hard, trying to
that was that incident with that three wide into turn 3 on the exit of the pit lane there. That was a wild one.
And then at that point it neutralized everyone's strategy and put us all on the everyone can make it strat. I was curious to see what Gary was going to be able to do, because he pitted in for new tires and topped up his fuel, because I think he was going to be really hard to make it. So he did the right pit strategy, because it only cost him 1 position to pit in. And I was curious how much they were going to be able to catch up to us with the new tires. But I think we on the restart we got enough of a gap that we just sort of had a little breakaway of the front guys, which was nice.
All right. Well, we have a week off, and I was mentioning during the broadcast, of course, I retain all sorts of useless information. I remember last time, one of the times I raced you in the DW12, even Andrew raced you in the DW12, I think last time at Homestead, was Lionheart, was the opener of their 2023 season, I believe. Or 2022 season, and you won that. So now you're getting ready to go to a track that I mentioned that you ran against some pretty stout competition in and won at that track. Are you excited about getting a good P2 here and then going to a track that you run traditionally pretty well at?
I really like that track. It's a nice track because of because the pit strategies that track generates. I mean, that was a track, I think in that Lionheart race example, I think I qualified like 25th or something. And it was purely through pit strategy that cycled me up to the front at the proper time, and then was able to fuel stretch it better than anyone else and get the win. And those are the type of things that Gateway does for you, which is, it makes it for a fun track. I mean, this track is the same as long as it stays green, but unfortunately the cautions kept interrupting that.
Well, before we let you go, shout outs. Of course, we do want to make sure you get a chance to mention 4D in there as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, got to thank Jim over at 4D Racewear. I mean, Chris, it was good to have Chris on the winning tonight. So if you're going to lose to anyone, lose to your teammate. That's right. It's good for the team. It's bad for your personal morale, I'm told, I guess. I mean, the guys that watch my stream, I'm going to call out Rick, because he's always popping into my chat to berate me for protecting the top line, which is how we made our passes and protected from getting past tonight. So good to hear both of your guys' voices. I know I'm not hitting all of the races this year. Just busy on the weekends. So we'll make the next one, that's for sure.
All right, congratulations on just great battles all around for you, and we'll hope to see you here in a couple of weeks at Homestead.
You betcha, guys. Stay safe.
Take care.
Moving up to another channel there is, I did see Rafi in one of the, and I think I might have picked the wrong channel, but I got the guys here. We'll move them up. I don't see Rafi anymore, but we'll bring up Stouffer.
Yeah, I don't see Rafi either.
And today's winner, Chris Stouffer. Congratulations, sir. Hard racing all the way around, especially during green flag runs. It looks like very early on with the way that these tires kind of gripped, you guys were on 100% throttle. But it also sounds like that you and Craig did some fuel saving. But we did get a chance to ride along with you, and you kind of had a bit of a different line in the 1 and 2 than everyone else, kind of avoiding that bump for the most part. And I think that really helps your momentum catching a lot of these cars on the backstretch. But once you got in front, especially on this last stint, you lit a rocket and took off and won by well over a second, which might as well be like a 3-lap lead here with the way that these cars run so close.
Yeah, it is hard to break away once you get it, get up front. I was in dirty air the whole night, so I was so used to running behind somebody. By the time I found myself up front, it was, of course, super easy. At that point, it's just the way it felt. I was trying to help out my teammate there as best I could and pull him along. But I didn't want to give him too much. I wanted to win, so I was glad I was able to hold him off, and we're able to have a good finish.
Can you talk a little bit about how the momentum plays such a factor at a track such as Iowa? Because it's a short track, but it's more of kind of a momentum driven situation where you really don't have a lot of tools to work with in this car, but you're trying to keep up with the pack and not lose the pack, but also save some fuel, which we heard Craig just talk about, that you guys were somewhat in a fuel situation, and it's hard to kind of balance the fuel situation with the momentum you got to carry to also have enough speed to make your way forward in the pack. So how much of a balancing act is it?
It is a balancing act. I mean, I guess it'd be different for each person, depending on where they're running and whether they're comfortable with where they're at. I know where I was in third place. I think I went for a pass on Craig somewhere towards the middle to you know in the beginning to third of the race, we'll say. And I noticed, going down low, I thought I was going to have clean air and be able to complete the pass, but it pushed up. And as soon as, like you said, you lose a lot of momentum. And I was able to slip back in line, but I know I saw in my rear view a couple times where people would go to pass and they would, end up going back further. So momentum had a lot to do with it, and it is a fine balancing act to try to save fuel while you're trying to keep up with the cars in front of you at the same time. I found myself in third place. I was talking to Craig and just saying, I'll just follow you. I'm just saving fuel at this point, and the guys behind me were wanting to keep going forward. So it's kind of a scary place to be, and it made it kind of hard to save fuel at the same time. But yeah, you just manage it the best that you can. Try to stay in the draft and keep as close as you can to the car in front of you. So when you are on the straightaways, you don't have to be full throttle, and just do all the little things that little tricks you think you can do to save fuel. But yeah, it ended up working out.
How much of the race did you feel that you were fuel saving, or were you scared that you weren't going to make it to a certain number?
Well, as the cautions fell, that changed. At the beginning of the race, I was just happy to stay in line and put down laps. I knew the biggest thing that I didn't want to happen was for me to have to pit and then, get trapped 2 laps down,
Hmm.
because that's certainly something you got to worry about here. And so I was just saving fuel. I was happy riding around in fifth, fourth, third, wherever I was, at the beginning of the race, because that was my main focus. And then we got a caution, and then it didn't matter if you save fuel. So I was just really riding at that point just to make sure I could stay out of maybe a lap or two longer in case somebody spun off going on or coming off pit road. So it changed throughout the race. But there was a few times where, we needed to save a few laps, and I think I was able to pull that off had it, mattered. At the very end of the race when we got that last caution, some of the guys were talking, they might not have enough fuel, and I just had a feeling with how much fuel I had. I knew I was in the draft the whole race, so I knew what I could make there. I figured I was good, and I had enough to get to checkered and do a couple burnouts.
Well, that's 2 podiums in a row, a podium and a win. Got a week off going to Homestead next. I'm sure you're very happy. I know you're run well at Homestead. I know Craig runs well there, so I probably expect that the whole team will probably run well there. But shout outs, anyone to say hi to, sponsors, friends, family, go right ahead.
Don't get him started on Homestead, please.
Well, I hope we can make Homestead. I might have a conflict that weekend.
Uh-oh.
So, we'll see if I can make it. As far as that goes, it is one of my favorite tracks, though. I know if Andrew doesn't want me to get started on it. I do like that track. And then it's this car, that combination. It's a great combination. It'll be a lot of fun. So I hope I can make it. But it's shout outs. I'll give a shout out to one of my fans here. I got Rick Ravana. He messaged me and was cheering me on. Apparently, saw that on my phone. So thank you. For watching the broadcast.
And he doesn't say a single word in chat. Come on, Rick. Come on, Rick.
See,
come on, Rick.
Come in chat, then.
Come on, Rick.
We love you,
man.
Rick. Where are you?
Come on, man.
Hopefully you hear all this. I'm going to call you out as soon as I'm done with this interview.
Yeah, he only sends a message to you, doesn't get into chat, doesn't interact, doesn't help the algorithm at all. Come on, man. What are you doing?
Yeah. I'll get on him. Anyways, 4D Racewear. Go to 4DRacewear.com. Get boots, gloves, other apparel there. Thank you to the wife and
the important one, yes.
And thank you guys up in the booth again. It was a lot of fun. Everybody here in the league. It was a lot of good, clean racing close where I was, so can't complain about that.
All right, well, congratulations. Hopefully we see you here in a couple weeks at Homestead. If not, I'm sure we'll catch you down the line here later in the season. Congratulations on the win. Go enjoy it, sir.
Thank you.
Let's move him up into there. And I told Rafi to pop back in and we'd bring him in an interview, but he might have taken off. He did say that he wanted me to update Trading Paints and to say that he has an updated livery for his cars, but I did that. And it's still the same. So maybe we'll see maybe for next race if that one comes out or not. But Andrew, final thoughts here before we move off. We have a week off, and then we go to Homestead next. Final thoughts from here.
Yeah, this race was pretty interesting in terms of you brought up the whole pack racing mantra earlier on, and I knew it wasn't going to be a pack race, but part of my brain was saying, I wonder what it would be like if the setup was such a way, the nighttime Iowa under the lights and everything, if these cars just started going too wide around the whole thing. I'm glad it wasn't that way, but we wound up getting quite a lot of good racing. It seemed like the bottom line held up very well after about like 7 to 10 laps or so. So it was quite interesting to see how people held the high line and how they can use the bottom line to advantage and avoid that bump and everything. I saw a lot of great moves, a lot of strategic situations and everything. So yeah, it was a pretty great race. And poor Eric Schaus falling out early lost the championship lead there. So I think Matt's still got it. Let's see how it all shapes out when we come back to the next one.
Trying to see if they got the points updated. Not yet. So we'll give a points update at the start of the next race. But I hope everyone enjoyed it. I had a fun time. And I think we'll go ahead and close on out of here and give everyone back the remainder of their Sunday nights here. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Iowa is Christopher with the win. His teammate Craig Forsyth. Jim Herrick's going to be happy with that. A 1-2 for his team. And Rafi Eckert finishes third. Your other key points, folks, Wagner fourth and Santos fifth. So the points are still going to be close going to the next round. Join Ryan Eric King and myself again on April 7th for round 4 of the Dark Horse DW12 series as the teams and drivers head to Homestead. Coverage this season begins around 8 p.m. Eastern time. Again, that's 8 p.m. Eastern. As always, You can find everything you need right here on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceVerse. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm is not an easy one, Rick. So please help support RaceVerse Rick with the weekly grind and leave a comment below, Rick, and let us know your thought of tonight's race, Rick.
Hey, yikes.
And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, Rick, support us by smashing like in the video, Rick, because we could really use that as well. If you're new, click subscribe and while you at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you'll miss out more of RaceVerse's other iRacing programming, including the Tuesday night Indy Oval Series Strength of Field. We later in the season we'll have another here in a month or so. Will be IIS will returns to Long Beach. IIS race this week was so exciting, and of course FIS on Thursday nights here on RaceVerse. Keep your browser set here for most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceVerse, we know what Indy means. Dark Horse DW12 Series, help brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in the description. For business inquiries, learn more about RaceVerse and what we do, visit raceverse.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. So for the Catalyst, Andrew Wood, everyone at RaceVerse, I'm Gary Gottsman saying to all, happy Sunday, and thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless. Come home safe. Catch us again here right here, April 7th at Homestead for the next race of the Dark Horse DW12 Series. Good night.